When was the last time something that happened in AEW made you feel something? Not that was a great match, but actually feel something. At AEW Forbidden Door, Will Ospreay defeated Swerve Strickland to cap off a marathon pay-per-view. All indications suggest the Forbidden Door buy rate tanked. As a result of Will Ospreay's win, the Boring Bruv is headed to Wembley Stadium for a main event everybody saw coming for months and to finally win the AEW World Championship 1 year too late. Will Ospreay is not in this position because of popular demand. In fact, we're 1 month from All In and ticket sales have moved so slow, they've cut the price in half. The story of All In 2026 is Tony Khan giving Will Ospreay a forced coronation after 55 fake 5-star matches, whatever that means. Tony Khan feels like he owes Will Ospreay a world title run, but that debt comes with very little emotional value attached. Today, we're going to talk about AEW's Lifeless product and the real reason AEW feels so boring right now. Subscribe in Swahili. Will Ospreay, Wembley Stadium, the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. This is technically a massive moment, but the problem isn't that Will Ospreay won. The problem isn't even the predictability of it all. The problem is a formulaic approach that AEW has cultivated for years. One where matches aren't graded on why they happen, but rather what happened. Plancha, armbar, styles clash, kick out, false finish, kick out, hidden blade, house call, kick out, phoenix splash, bird box. AEW was dictated by moves over moments. When I said this was technically a massive moment, that might be giving AEW too much credit. Because Will Ospreay headlining Wembley Stadium is nothing more than a technical moment, resulting from a technical wrestling match that'll lead to another technical wrestling match in a couple of months, but no real emotional investment, which is what pro wrestling is supposed to be all about. Ospreay winning the title at Wembley is predictable. It almost moves me. Notice the contradiction. Fans know it's predictable, and they've made peace with it. The acceptance is the disease. This is AEW's uninspiring formula. Technically impressive, emotionally bankrupt. No surprises, twists, turns, preferences, or even complaints. Will Ospreay is going to win the world title at Wembley Stadium, and fans are just fine with it. That's AEW's biggest problem, its lack of emotional currency. AEW is sleepwalking to All In, which is supposed to be its biggest show. Terrible ticket sales and all. WWE's road to WrestleMania has been historically combustible no matter how predictable it is or should be. Why? Because whether the booking is good or bad, it's always impacted by emotion. The Yes Movement was a product of a predictable WrestleMania build that made sense but failed to connect with the fans. So instead of just going with the flow of a Batista versus Randy Orton main event, fans revolted and the legend of Daniel Bryan was born. But predictability can also be a good thing if it's the right story. At WrestleMania 40, WWE was headed in a predictable direction that fans actually wanted when Cody Rhodes was on his way to finally finishing his story. When The Rock upended those plans, the We Want Cody movement got so loud it forced WWE to cancel a dream match between The Rock and Roman Reigns that could have easily headlined any other WrestleMania. But after caving to its emotionally engaged fan base, WWE messed around and booked the greatest WrestleMania main event of all time when Cody Rhodes finally dethroned the Tribal Chief. WWE fan emotion is so prevalent, Triple H faced his own round of backlash for basically telling WWE fans not to take the product too seriously. Triple H gave wrestling fans some sound advice to touch grass, and they crashed out faster than a Patriot in a parachute. This led to think pieces and YouTube videos, all because Triple H asked his own fan base to take a chill pill. I'm here for it. I agree that fans take wrestling too seriously, but the fact that asking them not to leads to even more emotion tells you that WWE fan engagement is at an emotional surplus, and it keeps the product honest to this day. Sami Zayn recently won the WWE Championship, leading to the most feel-good moment of 2026. But WWE's emotionally high-strung fan base was already ready to riot because they were convinced that the title reign wouldn't last that long. WWE announced Sami Zayn against Cody Rhodes, and the seeds of outrage were planted. Sami was finna lose the world title after just 9 days? Had Sami lost that match to Cody Rhodes on Raw, Twitter would break. People would be angry. Videos would be filmed. articles would be written. In the end, Sami Zayn didn't lose the WWE title to Cody Rhodes. He lost it to CM Punk. And Sami outrage was then canceled out by CM Punk euphoria. But regardless of how you feel, that memorable moment generated emotion. LA Knight has been on the cusp of a world title run for years now, but he's always seemed to be held back the closer he gets to his big moment. LA Knight's fan base is loud, overzealous, and will not be ignored. They screenshot clips from WWE Unreal that paint a picture of Triple H burying one of his brightest stars. Go on YouTube to research LA Knight. They're not talking about bangers or false finishes, but rather lobbying WWE to give Eli Drake the push that he's always deserved. Just look at these overreactive titles. The downfall of LA Knight in WWE. WWE has failed LA Knight. Has WWE finally ruined LA Knight? There is real, authentic, and monetizable fan support for LA Knight, and it's not just an underground thing. Every old head wrestler with a podcast wants to see LA Knight thrive, except Kevin Nash. LA Knight just cut a reality-based promo on Seth Rollins. Knight, a former Heartland Wrestling Association television champion, was tired of seeing Shield nostalgia on his TV. This was very self-aware booking from WWE, with LA Knight capturing the voice of the disgruntled internet wrestling fan. And boy, did these diehards take his scripted wrestling promos seriously. WWE and LA Knight definitely captured the emotion of his own fan base, which is what makes him a superstar as opposed to some WrestleBot. But on the other side of that coin is backlash directed at stars who some think are getting too much of a push. Jey Uso is the polar opposite of LA Knight when it comes to online discourse. Many feel Jey Uso is overpushed. Jey's big wins at the 2025 Royal Rumble and in the 2026 King of the Ring led to videos firebombed with dislikes. Fire up the think pieces because headlines went crazy. Why WWE fans are furious with Jey Uso's shocking Royal Rumble win. Jey Uso's WWE Raw Battle Royal gets 60,000 dislikes on YouTube. Why do fans hate Jey Uso? Jey Uso responds to fan backlash after advancing to King of the Ring finals versus Obafemi. Spoiler alert, he called some of these internet niggas broke, and he's not wrong. But right or wrong, look at the visceral, emotional reaction from all the fans who care. They're not threatening to quit watching, they're telling WWE exactly what they want for optimal viewing pleasure. AEW just does not have that dynamic, because that fan base has all the emotional engagement of a click farm in Pakistan. Name somebody in AEW who would inspire online outrage if they lost. Name somebody in AEW being buried who fans are begging Tony Khan to push every week. There's no AEW version of an over-push talent like Cody Rhodes or Jey Uso, and there isn't a standout internet darling in AEW like LA Knight or Sami Zayn, because when your entire company is built around indie darlings who can wrestle, suddenly it's hard to get behind an underdog or even root against an overdog. It's only where the best wrestle. So shut up, sit down, and watch technical wrestling with no emotion. That's AEW's mission statement. And that's why you'll never hear Tony Khan telling his fan base not to care too much, because there's no emotional engagement to begin with. Nobody's generating outrage or a grassroots movement in AEW. And maybe that means that the booking is so good that there's nothing to complain about or lobby for, but the ticket sales say otherwise. And among the fans who still care, they're just going with the flow and waiting for the matches to come and go. What does that tell you? No AEW fans fight for any particular talent to get over. Fans aren't even emotionally invested enough to be wrong about somebody. The product has trained them out of caring. AEW fans have learned to watch wrestling like scouts. They grade the matches with their little star ratings and cage match malware, but they're grading the matches, not the stories. And the company has learned to deliver exactly that. A safe, endless loop of technical excellence with no emotional risk. When people praise an AEW pay-per-view as one of the best pay-per-views ever, they're talking about what they saw, not what they felt. It's why every AEW B show gets canceled, because spin-offs only work when there's an opportunity to dig deeper into a character. AEW's idea of a B show is less about the characters and more about wrestle slop, and it's failed every single time. All symptoms of a broken system within all elite wrestling. And that broken system has a very specific shape, size, and color, Because AEW's creative hierarchy isn't just predictable, it's predictable in the exact same direction every single time. One that has remained white, proud, patriarchal, and predictable since its inception. AEW has never ever let a single woman main event a pay-per-view, not even as part of a mixed match like Anarchy in the Arena. In fact, AEW Redemption will mark its 50th straight pay-per-view without a women's match headlining. This is the AEW hierarchy, and it always has been. The product itself tells you who matters, and they've been doing so for the last 50 pay-per-views and counting. When the audience knows that certain stories will only be elevated to a certain level, they stop investing in those stories. Sameness breeds indifference. You're not building anticipation, you're confirming it. Here's a prediction. By the time you're reading this, there's a good chance that Kenny Omega will be your new world champion. This after MJF, Darby Allin, and MJF again all enjoyed world title reigns this year. White Boy Will just won the Owen Cup, and he'll get a nice, cushy, uneventful world title win over Kenny Omega come August. AEW loves their long world title reigns. You want to talk about streaks? As of this writing, their 190-day streak of exclusively white world champions is very likely to stretch to 365 and beyond. AEW is not open-minded when it comes to booking world champions. There is not a wide variety of stars who could be AEW world champion. Tony Khan has a type, and this infographic tells you exactly what it is. The average AEW world champion is 6 foot tall, 227 pounds, and white as f***. 8 out of 10 AEW world champions have been Caucasian, and a white man has held that belt for 89% of his existence. There's never been an AEW world champion over 6'4" or under 280 pounds. AEW on its own merits is very close-minded when it comes to crowning world champions, and it heavily favors those who are short, white, and light. I've got a question. How often has black talent been in genuine world title contention in AEW? We all know the answer to this, and it's that one time Swerve Strickland won the world title at Dynasty 2024. But Swerve's win felt like a real, organic moment. He had the fans behind him. He felt like a main eventer all throughout his chase, and Swerve Strickland's title run proved that unpredictability can be just as effective as playing it safe. The one time AEW actually built emotional investment around a black world champion, fans responded. That's not just a diversity argument, it's empirical evidence that AEW knows how to generate emotional investment and just chooses not to. Fast forward to 2026 and the Hurt Syndicate just forfeited all future title opportunities. Tony Khan really had these brothers show up on Cancelable Collision and say, "We don't want to compete for titles." 2 years after AEW crowned its first black world champion, not only have they not done so since, they're taking all the black chess pieces off the board. AEW's shocking melanin moment in 2024 wasn't in the plans, but the result generated real emotion. This proves that when AEW takes chances and goes against its own grain, good things can happen. But the fact that Swerve's run stands out as the exception over the rule reveals how narrow this AEW vanilla midget template has become. This is a bland roster hierarchy that fans can predict years in advance. Sometimes predictability can be a reliable booking tool, but in AEW, it's an engagement killer. Anybody can predict that AEW media scrums are going to feature fake makeshift media, but that doesn't make it a good choice. Mercedes' words, and mine.
This is
going to be good.
The real media, but let's do it.
AEW has weaponized match quality as a deflection from storytelling failure. After Forbidden Door, could you describe one compelling storyline beat? Or did you just say the matches were great? The matches were great is what fans say about a product that they like but don't love. It's praise with no real heat behind it. Good matches is the bare minimum of any wrestling company, especially in 2026. What keeps buildings full is great stories, memorable characters, and a booker taking fans on a journey where they stick around for the payoff. When people watch an AEW pay-per-view and only talk about the matches, it's like if I asked you what you thought about a movie and you said the acting was great. That's not what I asked. How did you feel about the movie? Its characters, from beginning to the middle to the end. AEW has become a highlight reel in search of a story. Great matches, no arc. In WWE's worst creative years, fans still rallied behind the likes of Daniel Bryan, Sami Zayn, LA Knight, and Chad Gable. They still saw John Cena, Roman Reigns, Triple H, and Jey Uso as overpushed heat magnets, and they used their voices to let this be known. But that's because they care. They care enough to constantly express how they specifically feel about every relevant character. But if you strip away the match quality of AEW, what's left? AEW isn't dying. It's something worse. They're just fine. I don't think they're going to go out of business, but both WCW and ECW went out of business, and it actually helped their lore. It's easy to lionize the good times for a company that went away. Zombie promotions like ROH and TNA never went out of business, and Dark Side of the Ring is finna premiere a TNA episode in Season 7. AEW is just fine. And in wrestling, fine is the last stop before irrelevant. Tony Khan remains one of the most relevant people in combat sports, but so is President Trump. Maybe that's why Tony Khan has developed several Trump-friendly connections that make him more MAGA than WWE ever was. For more on that story, check out this video.